Hi, I'm Joe Fletcher-Hunt. I'm a partner in the real estate team at Aaron & Partners, and I've been asked to answer 5 questions on rural economy real estate. Yes, I guess is the easy answer for that one. The next question will be how much. It depends in that if you inherit land, you don't necessarily need to pay any tax on it, whereas if you buy land, it's more than likely that you do. The rates of tax are always changing depending on the government or the mood of the day, and it's something you just need to check on and get advice on. The main elements or the main differences between the two are something called exclusive possession, which means that the land is land or property is exclusively possessed by you and you exclude others. And the second one, particularly with a rural background, is time. Licenses don't have as much protection as leases in that they tend to be personal, they're on a short-term basis, and at the end of the period, that's the end of the period, it's time to move on. Common examples of those are grazing licenses. Leases are a bit more of a problem in that they've got more protection. On protection I mean security of tenure. I'm from an agricultural background, notices or termination of a lease is a lot harder in that the notice periods tend to be a lot longer, usually a year or up to 2 years. And this is to account for farmers putting seeds and crops in the ground and having to wait for them to mature before they can get them out and get going. The main difference is in relation to an AHT and an FBT is in relation to the statutes that they're governed under, and that can have an impact on inheritance tax as well, both for the landowner and for the tenant. The main difference with an AHT tenancy is that they have, if you like, more security of tenure, and that family members or elected members can succeed under the tenancies, i.e. they can be passed on. A farm business tenancy is a bit more akin to a commercial lease in that it tends to be one tenant. Not that that can't be passed on, but at the end of the FBT term, that's the end of the term, a new lease has to be negotiated, whereas under the other schemes, the AHTs, they can carry on for a bit longer. It's a bit of a it depends answer. Usually the tenants will stay in place in that they will have agreements with the seller for a set term, so you can rent this house for 10 years or you can be a tenant on my farm for the next 50 years. And what will happen or should happen is that the buyer will step into the shoes of the seller and everything will carry on. And part of our job as a conveyancer solicitor is to bottom out what those relationships are and make sure that everyone's aware of their responsibilities and in some cases benefit receiving rent. Yes, I think so. I think that the main issue with this is bottoming out what the easement is. So an easement is another term for rights or the benefits of land. So for most common examples are things like utility easements, so you have a right to put a water pipe across my land, or an access easement where you have a right to use my track or road or driveway. So if you're looking to sell, it's to get as much information as you can about who has the benefit and who has the responsibility. And I mean that on both sides in terms of if there's a problem, who's got to spend money sorting it, and if there's a problem in terms of access, for example, how is that to be refereed?